Welcome everyone to Discover This, and welcome back. Well, if you recognize that bridge in the background, or you recognize this view over here, then you know we're in Coronado, California today, and we got a story for you. And many of you, when you think of Coronado, you probably think of the iconic Hotel del Coronado with its Hollywood history and some presidential history and some paranormal history and a little bit of Thomas Edison history. But today we're going to talk about a movie studio that was in Coronado. How many of you knew about that? There was a full-blown movie studio right here in Coronado, California. And right here along First Avenue in Orange, right here where this condominium complex is and this little park, was the Lubin Film Studio. And it was on 8 acres of land, and it encompassed a garage, a production lot, an art studio, and it also had something else very unique. Right here along this bayside part of the property, they built a castle, or at least the facade of a castle. Now this whole studio cost at the time about $60,000, which now we're talking in the early 1900s. So quite a big sum of money to invest. Now the background of this studio is that a gentleman by the name of Zygmunt Lubin, he was a Jewish immigrant from Poland who was an expert in opticals and photography. And he fell in love with Thomas Edison's motion picture camera, and he designed his own camera slash projector, and he called it the Cineograph. Now its lower price and some good marketing made it fairly popular. And that was the beginning of the Lubin Manufacturing Company. He started making films in 1897 in the Philadelphia area. And that's where he set up his first motion picture studio. He eventually expanded his operations, and he opened studios in Jacksonville, Florida, Los Angeles, California, and right here in Coronado. Now, Lubin Films was actually the first appearance by an actor you may have all heard of, a guy by the name of Oliver Hardy. That was in 1913, and he was originally billed as O.N. Hardy, and then later as Babe Hardy. He eventually appeared in over 50 short one-reel films for Lubin before moving on to other projects, such as Laurel and Hardy. In 1914, the Lubin facility in Philadelphia had a large fire, which decimated many of the buildings. And it destroyed negatives and unreleased films, which severely hurt his business. Also, the outbreak of World War I also hurt his business, along with other film production companies. Now, there were also numerous lawsuits filed by Thomas Edison for patent infringement. And Zygmunt Lubin finally had enough of these lawsuits, and he joined the Motion Picture Patents Company, which was a monopoly on production and distribution set up by Thomas Edison. Eventually, the United States Supreme Court ruled against the Motion Picture Patents Company, calling it a monopoly, which it was. And that pretty much spelled the end of the Lubin Motion Picture Company. The company was forced into bankruptcy, and on September 1st, 1916, the Lubin Manufacturing Company closed its doors for good, but not before making over 1,000 motion pictures. So that was the end of the Lubin Film Studio in Coronado, California. The doors were closed, the land was sold. Now it's believed about 10 silent films were made right here at this studio, most of which have been lost due to the type of nitrate film that was used back then. But just another piece of Coronado history that some of you may have known about and some of you may not. Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this little short and sweet bit of movie history right here in Coronado, California. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And we will see you next time on Discover This.